working right now, buddy. Come on.
So who was surprised for it? Was it a good surprise? Very good.
Aww.
And so today you guys are meeting one of our two African cheetahs. Now we have two males here. They are brothers. They are both 9 years old. And today you guys are meeting the lovable Triton. Now along with Triton, we have 3 members of his training team. So hanging out with him today is his lead trainer, Jason and Elias. And on the far side, we have Kira. Hanging out with Kira, who's very excited to meet you guys. We have our 9-year-old golden lab. And today you guys are meeting Finn. Now I did mention that we do have 2 cheetahs, but we also have 2 dogs. So we have not only Finn, but also his brother Norton, who is our black lab. And he's hanging out in the back with Littlefoot, Triton's brother. Now, if anybody knows a thing or two about these cheetah programs, do you guys know the role of the dogs over cheetahs?
Help them be less nervous.
Yeah, you go right. And it's because, cheetahs by nature are very cautious and wary animals. And they have to be, especially out in the wild. Even though we do know as cheetahs being the world's fastest land mammal, out in the wild, they kind of sit at the bottom of the predatory totem pole in their different habitats. And so, especially out in Africa, they do need to worry about the iconic predators like leopards, lions, and hyenas, who vastly outweigh cheetahs. And so those large predators will actually push them out of protected areas, they'll steal their hard-earned kills. And so cheetahs just adapted as animals to be very cautious. And so this practice, which actually started in the late 70s, proved that if you pair cheetahs with dogs at an early age, the goal is for them to bond and for the cheetah to pick up cues from the dog. And so by Finn being very relaxed over there with Kira, he's letting his brother know that everything and everybody in this room is perfectly safe. And then in turn, as you guys are hearing, Triton's purring. And that's going to be a sign to Jason and Elias that he's very relaxed as well. This is complete with you guys this time, so I'll hop off my soapbox and I'll turn the floor over to you guys. If you have any burning cheetah questions you've been dying to ask.
Well, I wasn't dying to ask, but now I am. Do they have vaccinations? Like we have COVID vaccines, because they're COVID susceptible, do they have vaccines as well?
Yeah, you guys probably saw in the news that some of our larger cats tested positive, and actually some other zoos also had a similar occurrence. And it's interesting because when a animal COVID vaccine became available, the real issue was being able to store it and use it effectively. And so we were very fortunate that once something did become available, that we were able to maintain it here and also distribute it to the necessary institutions. But it very much targets those individuals who are more susceptible and like the bigger cats. And so we'll do our routine inoculations with them, like very similar to how you do your animals at home. And now part of our routine will be the COVID vaccine.
What treats are you giving?
So he's actually getting his second meal of the day. So what we'll do is we'll lay out how much meat they're going to get for the day, and we break it up into around 4 different meal times. Because cheetahs, if they eat a very large meal at once, are prone to getting gastritis. So we like to make sure that we keep their gut health nice and strong. So we do break it up into separate meals, but it also gives us the opportunity, if we are looking to train any behavior, to kind of work on it a couple of times. So being that he's in his program today, this is his second, so it's going to be the largest of his meal today. And it's a combination of something called Nebraska premium feline. So it's a zoo-based carnivore meat. So it's muscle meat and organ meat, all kind of ground up, that we'll make meatballs out of. We also get these really large shank bones that we'll carve meat off of, and we'll give them the shank in their meal, and then we'll give them the bones in their enclosures for them to wear in their teeth. And then, being that they are very much cats, they can be very particular about what they like to eat. So we do try to offer them a variety of different items for their diet. So we try giving them whole prey items like a frozen thawed rabbit or a frozen thawed chicken, very rarely do they engage with it, but it's something that we like to still offer them. Triton here is a rib man, literally eats the bones whole. His brother really likes chicken. He won't eat chicken, the other one won't eat ribs, so they can be very particular, but the bulk of their diet is gonna be that Nebraska and the shank meat.
I remember when she lived by a cat, so
And you'll regularly see Triton groom Jason. Now Jason was one of the keepers along with Kira, who were instrumental in raising our two cats because they did join our family pretty young. And so almost 10 years ago now, we got a call from San Diego Safari Park that one of their females, Allie, had given birth to a litter of 4 cubs, and those cubs weren't going to be a part of the breeding program. Now with cheetahs, being that they had a severe bottleneck to their genetics, which actually started right around the last ice age, there's very little genetic diversity among the species. And so it's very important to monitor the genes so you don't run into problems down the line that can be associated with, inbreeding and things like that. And so being that their parents were pretty prolific, there wasn't going to be a call for those cubs to breed their lifetime. And so if you're not a breeding cheetah, you're either going to be an ambassador or an exhibit cheetah. And so they reached out to our curator, Kathleen, asked if we wanted to take in the boys for an ambassador program. Now we did have to, weigh the pros and cons because they would be coming to us fairly young. But we realized the importance of being able to talk about, the plight of the cheetah. They do have it really tough and wild. And so Kathleen and Kira went out to meet Triton and Littlefoot when they were only 5 days old. They spent a couple weeks out there just kind of learning how to care for them as cubs and also how to show them in a demonstration space like this. And then right at 2 weeks old, they came here, and our keeper staff pretty much became moms and dads overnight. Because baby cheetahs need to be fed around the clock. And so our keepers would modify their schedules. Jason would come in really early, Kira would stay really late, Kathleen would do the overnight shift. And they can tell you as much work as it was. I did 2 bottle feeds, that was more than enough for me. But you can see not only the bond that Triton had with his dog companion, but he also has a very big bond with his training staff as well. Now we can actually capitalize on that bond because that actually forms the foundation for a very important enrichment tool in zoos, which is training. And you guys are actually helping us with a training session as we speak. You may have noticed Jason asking Triton for different behaviors, different positions, and that's all part of his training program. And being that it does look like he's going to participate with today, Elias can walk you through a couple of those behaviors.
I take at least some of you are cat people, and you may have had cats at home or currently have cats at home, but you know that the abdomen is sometimes a very sensitive area for them. And so what we try to do and aim to do is through positive reinforcement, kind of position them in a way that we can have them participate in their own veterinary care. More often than not, the vet aspect of their lives can be a very stressful event, and so if there's anything that we can do to turn that from such a negative experience to something a bit more positive or even non-existent, that's what we aim to do. And so the layout behavior is fantastic for exposing the abdomen for palpation. We've done our ultrasounds in this position, we've done radiographs in this position, we do our routine inoculations just with them lying down like this and doing our injections. And we'll also do our physical exams as well as our blood draws. The cat's tail is a very strong, has a very strong muscle within it, and with that it needs to be needs blood flow. And so there's a great vein over there that we'll use to grab routine blood from. And all these diagnostics better the individuals, but it's also fantastic for getting essentially more data on the species. And so we will work collectively with other organizations to share a lot of the information we receive from the animals that we care for here. And we'll also be able to use this and adapt it to our field use. And so the role of our animals here is definitely tiered. They fulfill very many different roles. And the great thing about the training is, as Ty mentioned, it does stimulate them mentally. And so if we can make every day kind of a bit novel, and even you guys are providing some sort of novelty, we feel that is fantastic, provided it's not overwhelming. And for a species like the cheetah, who can be a bit more aware of changes to its environment, it's great to be able to desensitize these things, have them experience new things, and if there is anything that they kind of view as suspect, have the canine companion to really indicate how they should be responding.
Do the cheetahs, I mean, I guess this could be from a lot of your encounters, certain hours that they can work and then you don't do them, so it doesn't stress them? Like I did a sloth encounter and they're only allowed to do like 2 encounters with the sloths a day because it can stress them out. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
is that how it works with you?
To be honest, with our pets, we kind of see that they don't seem to mind it, but we do limit, so we'll only offer 4 cheetah encounters a week. And then we will, we'll rotate who it is. A lot of times when we go out to their exhibit space, you'll see Triton and Finn coming running over to us, and that's usually the ones who come in, but we do rotate them as well. But definitely for some of the other animals that we have in the collection, there's definitely more regulations and things like that for how often they can come out.
Like a herding dog, do cheetahs have to be ran either on one of those treadmills, or does it have to keep some sort of exercise regimen?
Well, if you look at Triton, he's a little round. But it's interesting because if you look at his brother is much more of that like streamlined cheetah look, very muscular, very lean. And that's because, I mean, we give them the opportunity to run. They spend the majority of their day outside in a large exercise yard where they can run. Triton just likes to spend that time laying in the sun or in a leaf pile or just laying and watching the other cheetah and the 2 dogs run around. So there's no need to make them run, but we do spend a lot of money on enrichment items to, try to encourage them to run, and a lot of times they're very happy with, the box that it came in as opposed to whatever we just paid for the pulley system. But yeah, they definitely have the opportunity to, but that's kind of, it's up to them if they want to, so that's why Littlefoot looks the way he does, and that's why Triton looks the way he does.
Beautiful.
I think it's interesting because it really highlights how they really are individuals. These 2 males were litter mates. They were raised the same exact way. There was really no difference in any approach. And they are so different with who they've become, who they've grown into be, that it really shows you how individual, like you need to, we manage the animals here on a species level to an extent, but you also need to manage each individual on the individual level because they have their personalities, they have their identities, and it's probably more obvious with the cheetah than it is most other animals because we had 2 from the same litter mix exactly the same way, and I'm telling you, they are polar opposites.
In the encounter, like if we were to see them outside in their enclosure, is there a way to tell them apart, or are they so?
So there's 3 more spots on Triton. It's night and day, really.
Other than their personalities now.
Personalities, Triton has like these big teddy bear eyes, and Littlefoot is constantly scowling. He has a frown all the time.
Triton has a pretty decent amount of white on the tip of his tail, where Littlefoot has very little. So if you were to see them from behind, that would be the way you can see the differences between them.
But again, 3 spots is.
Have you started them?
Am I counting them? No, I'm not. I'm trying to be clever here. No. They say there's roughly 2,000, and I mean, Jason can't even count that high. So we would be. That's taking it easy on Jason. He can't actually retaliate in front of people, so this is fantastic.
Do you like house cats? Like, do they have toys? Do they?
Yeah, as Karen mentioned, our enrichment budget is significant. We try to be as creative as possible, and so many more times than not, they'll choose the box, rather than the line. And so we don't like to draw too many parallels to domestic house cats, but there are things that are ubiquitous among cats, and the sleeping, the fact that everything's on their terms, just even this program, we talk about how we want everything to be positive. You probably have cats at home, and moving them into a direction, if they don't want to go, they're not going to go. And so that's why we need to make this space as positive as we can. And the fact that we still our veterinary physical exams and things here, and they still enjoy and want to come in here, I think is a testament to the space and the relationship that's been built.
I guess for all you guys, what's your favorite thing about dealing with cheetahs or maybe trying?
Jason, you go.
Yeah, Jason, go ahead.
Yeah, it's like when you have a bond with him, like he shows it off by like making you like this. Like his brother, like he will lick you, but like not as much as yeah. And like I don't know, he's just like so chill.
The cats make you work for it.
Yeah.
Some animals are like off the bat, you know, they're accepting, they're easygoing. The cats, it's so funny because you can have years with them and they still won't allow you into that inner circle. And then you could have just even a few days to months with them. And there's like an immediate connection that forms. And so I think that that's something, that testament to it, to their character. You know, like I like that about them. They're very discerning.
I like that regardless of what size they were, whether it was when they were, you know, tiny little cubs or what they are now, they are very much themselves. Like there has not been much that has changed for them. Like Triton's always kind of been like our like dopey happy one, and Littlefoot's always been like our like angry, you know, thinker. So I like that no matter what stage of life they were at, that they've always just remained the same individual.
Now I'm on the other side. Because these cats do not like me. It's not just a cheetah thing. Every single cat we have in this building, I mean from our tiny fan cats up to our cheetahs, cannot stand me. So it's definitely something that you learn, like Elias mentioned, that you know they are individuals. And you learn very quickly in the zoo field that even though you may want to work with the species, Poison is he's telling me to be quiet. You know, you have to base it off that individual and you can't have a big ego. You need to treat them as individuals. You know, you just move on to another animal that may have a relationship with you. We have our little preemptive porcupine that definitely is clingy enough that he takes a lot of my attention. So I'll leave the cheetah to these guys.
How social are cheetahs? Do they spend time in groups in the wild, or?
So males will. Males form something called a coalition, and historically it was always believed to be just brothers that are broken off from a litter and stayed together. But there was a very famous coalition called the Fast Five that was actually a group of 2 sets of brothers and an additional male that came in. So they do form these large groups because they can take down much bigger game. Females are going to be completely on their own unless they have us with them. So now that Finn is no longer working, he's going to see what Triton dropped. And then we're going to bring Finn around. If you guys want to love on Finn, feel free to. If you're on top, you can move around and come on down.
And you can move